Hey everyone, it's Dark Viper. I am here showing you guys how to do a custom skybox. So if you are familiar with Roblox Studio, or even just most Roblox games, you can see here I'm actually playing Pet Simulator 2 right now, so I can show you their skybox real quick. Let's see what it looks like. So theirs is actually pretty basic. So they have a little bit of a highlight, and then it kind of goes darker to a rich blue. So here we have the standard skybox, and what we're going to do is first thing I've got a template already created that I use for skyboxes. I just call it Skybox Guide. So you can see here I had already worked on one earlier today for our Dr. Seuss game, and I'm going to show you the guides. So this is the guides. See here, up here is going to be where your top of the skybox is. This is where it's like straight up. So if you look straight up, that's the top, and you got left, back, right, front, and that's basically this. And then there's the bottom. And in order for this to make sense, you first need to understand what a skybox is, and it's actually a cube map. So the way it works is essentially it's something like this, right? That's the right, and then you have to have a roof, which would be that top. So this is actually how skyboxes are set up. So basically you're inside this. So when you're in a Roblox game, you're inside this. But that's how a skybox works, is you're essentially in the world, and this never changes. This box is always relative to you. That's why you don't see any movement, right? Because you're basically in the center and you can't get any closer to it because it's just it's attached to the camera. I believe it's attached to the camera, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure from the technical standpoint. Someone in comments can actually clarify that. So my job here is only to show you how to make a skybox. So let's do that. So first things first, coming back here, now you understand that this is textures for a cube. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that because that's an artifact. So this is my guide. I use this guide so that I can understand, especially considering a couple things. One is you need to understand where the horizon is. And this is approximate horizon. Is basically what I mean by this is not so much about like the real horizon, right? It's talking about like here, right? So it's about around here. So I like to make sure I know visually whereabouts are my clouds gonna lay out. And so you can see here, I'm probably gonna see about this area right here to the start of the base of the area. So like this. This is not a flat area, so technically his horizon is like right here. So in this area, one thing's, you need to understand the layout, and this is the top and all that, right? But what I usually do is say I wanted to redo Pet Simulator's skybox. So this first things first, I would basically take a screenshot. So I would say, okay, this is probably a good spot right here. So I'll go in here, create a new image here, and I'm gonna extract this because I need to, this is just a magic wand tool. So I'm gonna cut that out. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna start working on a new gradient inside their game. So it's basically gone, so I can wipe. So I just, if you don't know what I just did, I just locked the layer. So if I don't lock the layer and I paint, it goes out. But if I lock the layer and I paint, it doesn't go outside of the layers region. So you see, I just made it. This is the black sky, right? But we wanted to do something cool. So I think what we could do is I want to do something like a kind of a pinkish sky. So, and then just I want it to be a little wacky, right? And I could sample maybe a little of these colors here. Get a little bit of that light. This is very candy style. So let's see, straight across. So it's already looking kind of different, right, from their typical. Granted, their typical looks great, but we're trying to do something wacky here. And say I want to add a little bit of extra colors in here. So maybe like a little bit of this at the top. It's just variety to it. Because you can see they've got a little bit of purples here. You can sample them. Got a little purples, magentas. So you don't want to do something like that because it just doesn't look right. So now we have my gradients. I'm actually not a fan of this, so I don't really want to show you the tutorial on this, but this is the process I typically take. So in this case, let's do something a little bit more like I want to do like an ocean sky. So let's try this. So I'll just do a color shift, hue shift here. Let's do something like maybe closer to this. I like that. I like that purplish kind of haze. And then I want to bring in a little bit richer blues. And you don't have to be like a pro at this. Just go look at other games that you play. And I'm not talking just like, you could check out Unity games. Unity has some of the best looking skyboxes you'll ever find. So I want to add a little bit more blues, like aquas. A little bit more aqua to this. And then because it doesn't really fit in this game, but that's okay. I want to bring it up a little bit and bring back aquas again. All right, so let's just assume this is kind of what I was wanting to go for. It's not, but go a little lighter at the bottom too. There we go. Okay, so that's quite different than what they had, right? That's what they had. I'm just showing you an example here. Theirs is way better, but let's just assume. Because my version is going to have clouds. I still like theirs better. Hold on. It's really bothering me. Let's bring some vibrance up. That's a little bit better. Okay. Now I'm liking that. Okay, so here's our gradient. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copy of this, a little sliver, so I can build off of this for my gradient. So I'm just going to copy merge. If you don't know what copy merge is, basically, if I were to just copy this layer, it's just going to copy this layer. And I want to copy the entire, all layers to combine. So I'm copy merge so I can easily paste it over here. So this is my color template, right? This is my color guide. So I'm going to just stick it over there. And I'm going to hide all my clouds because I'm going to reuse my clouds just for the ease of this template, but I can show you guys how to do clouds in a sec. And let's go and hide these layers because these are irrelevant. Okay, so this is my main layer, and you can see I've got a guide. One thing you're going to want to do is this is your guide, but you want to have a little bit of bleed because you're going to use this. This is going to turn into your top. So I usually combine these 4 pieces into the top section. And technically this should not, technically I should move this away from all these because I always have to hide it, but don't worry about that. I'll show you, just watch the process and you'll see. All right, so here I'm going to create my gradient. So we basically hide the guides and I'm going to go into this layer. It is a shape. So all you have to do is double click on the gradient style here. And I'm going to start working on my gradient. So I want to start with the very top, that rich blue. And then I'm going to go to kind of a little bit closer to the middle, like right there. And then a little closer to the bottom. Make sure I get those blues. And then I'm gonna end with this lighter blue, the lightest blue here. Okay. All right. Thank you, Photoshop. So you can see right here, I've got these styles set up, and then I'm going to start adding some clouds in. So I've already got these clouds set up, but the problem is they come with a bunch of stuff I don't want. So let me remove this. And so basically, I've got these layers, right? And the way you can do it, so you can see I have it on screen mode, but this is what the cloud looked like. So I can repair this. Let me get rid of that. Actually, it'd probably be better if I just erase that. So you want to stick with stuff that's public domain because you don't want to get in trouble for taking someone else's cloud, okay? Someone can tell about their clouds. So let's see. Let's find cloud. Free, public. Usually you can say public domain. Picture. So public domain picture. So you can see in here, like most clouds will work. I mean, you can make most things work. There are some that are just easier to work with. Like when you start getting into the mid-tones like this, it's really hard to work with that because it just blends. Same with this. So you kind of want to have isolated clouds if you can. And you want them to kind of, you know, they kind of need to match together. So if you're going to take a cloud, you can also do like this. You can type in PNG and sometimes you'll get some transparent ones. Like this one's kind of cool. But just kind of look through, and I'm going to show you how to like take one from a photo because that's the hardest thing though, right? Because you found some perfect clouds like this one. You're like, Dark, I really want to use this one. This one's a cloud free stock photo, public domain pictures. Okay, so that's pretty safe. Again, you don't want to be stealing people's photos. Okay, so I'm going to size this up. I'm going to say that this is the one that you wanted to use. So you want to first desaturate it. So I go to image, adjustments, desaturate. And now it's black and white because I don't want all those colors in here. I'm just going to bring this up so this needs to be as close to black as possible. So you're going to take this up to inside the histogram, you can kind of see it starts getting really, really dark. And then you can adjust this to get a little closer. So you want to get rid of those edges so that it's black. And then you're going to erase this and get some smooth edges. Okay. So here I'm going to remove that. And now all I have to do is go screen. So see how that works? Pretty cool. So we'll leave this in here for kicks. Now this project that I was working on was meant to have a snowy kind of look, but I'm not going to do a snowy look on this one. So I don't need as big of clouds. This is going to be more like spread out clouds. And this, I don't really like how that worked out. So let's get rid of that. So we're just going to spread these out. Okay, for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that. And so you can't really tell with clouds that they're being reused, but okay, so we got this, right? So now let's go back to our guide. And one thing I want to make sure you don't end up in this pitfall is inside here. See when this bleeds over, this is going to be problematic because the way you have to build the top, this is going to have to join in a really, really weird warped way. So I highly recommend that you not let these kind of bleed over into this quadrant. So you need to just slide it over a little bit so it doesn't have this issue. The other thing you can do to make it really, really natural look, because this is going to feel very obvious that there's gaps here. So let's see, let's move this to the center. You say I'm going to cut exactly right here. And just cut that. Set it up and then slide it over there. There you go. And this is going to slide to this edge. It's just the easiest way I've found to do this. And the other thing, like I said, you don't want to let this right here bleed over. Just keep that stuff, keep your edges out. So you can see right here, there's a little bit of a bleed through. It's kind of close to the edge, so we're going to bring that down and back up over here. Something like that. And you could do it. Don't get me wrong, you could do this, but we don't want the pain of having to do that, all right? So easy's the best. Take the easiest route. Stuff still looks good. Okay, so now we need to build the top. So how this works is you can see I have here front edge, right edge, back edge, and left edge, so that way you know the tops of these where they need to go. So this is the front right here. So we're going to take the front. We're going to copy that, merged. I'm going to paste it, and then we're going to rotate it. So I usually just bring this all the way to the top of the guides, so you can use the guides as a guide. So I just rotate that and set it up. So there's that one. And now the right side, we got to do the right. So let's bring that in. Copy, merged, slide it over. Don't mess with the guides. And I'm going to show you how to fix this because it's going to look funny at first. And now we're going to do the back. That's fine. Okay, so back edge, we rotate it. Bring that in, make sure we're pixel perfect here. And then we're going to do the left edge now. The problem with the left edge, guess what's in our way? Is the guide. So you're going to hide these. We're going to hide the guide. And we're going to take this piece now. Paste, copy, and paste. Okay. So now this is actually going to go into the top. Very top of that, because that's how that lined up if you remember my guide. Okay, so now we just grab the erase tool. This is the easiest way to do it. Now you just erase, and then I'm going to erase. And I usually do just a diagonal. See how it's like I just kind of go along the diagonal. I don't get all crazy with this. You're going to see a little bit of discoloration in a sec here. That's okay, because we're going to fix that in a sec. And then I do this. Just get that cloud in there. You can also just kind of bring the opacity down if you want to make sure you're not missing anything as you go. So if you see some like clouds or something you missed, then you bring the opacity back up. And then this right here is tricky, not too bad. All right. So that's the top, and now we're gonna go in under. See this layer? You're gonna go to the very bottom layer here. We're gonna add one. Slide that up because it has to be under it. And then we're going to take this and paint. So we're gonna sample the most top color because this should be a flat color. We're just gonna paint in there so that we don't have any weird discoloration. So you can see now that looks pretty good, but you know, that's gonna be a big open space at the top. Let's go find some free clouds. Okay, here we go. This is decent. So here I'm gonna paste that in. I'm just gonna add a little texture in the center. I'm gonna bring that up. Kind of blurry, but that's okay. We can always sharpen it. And then when you're doing the levels, it gets sharper as it is. All right. Bring those levels up again. Now we have more defined edges, so we're gonna go screen mode. And then we're gonna start erasing some of this. So we just want a little bit of texture to our sky. Doesn't need to be crazy. It's a Bob Ross moment. And I'm not even creating these by hand, so think about that. So you could do this too. And that looks a little kind of funny, but we can add a little bit of texture if we think that looks odd. Just grab some texture from something else. Give it a better edge. So it doesn't look blurry, you know? Same for that little piece here. Give it a little texture. Okay, so now we are ready to assemble. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. And we're gonna go in and basically start working on these clouds. So let's see, I'm gonna copy merged. So I basically select the top. And you're gonna wanna hide the guides where you're gonna need them every now and just to remember. You need to remember if what's left, right. So it goes left, back, right, front, right, and then bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace some existing PNGs since I already have some set up for a separate project here. So let's go ahead and just open that. We're going to paste over it, save it. We're going to now do the left. When in doubt, just use an existing example. Copy. Just do new. Okay, so that's done. We're gonna save this one. This should be back. It's left. It's left. Is this left? And then we're going to now, we can go ahead and close this. I don't think we need that anymore. We're going to now do the next one here. Copy. This one is going to be, which side is this? So it goes left, back, right. So let's go ahead and do back. Replacing back. And then we can shift this over. We're going to do right. And then we're going to do front. And then then we're going to go to the bottom. See, the bottom's too white. So what you want to do is, this is just a, I don't really do textures on the bottom because you don't really see them. So we're just going to sample that so it lines up perfectly. So if you did look down, it looks good. You can do cities, you can do all kinds of stuff. Especially if you have like a game with a lot of heights, you can put like a little town at the bottom or something, or maybe water. You can do a water plane. Water textures, pretty cool. So that's down, save. Okay, so now we got all these done. Now onto the Roblox part. So coming back to Roblox, you're gonna basically, we're already having this project, you're gonna go into lighting, click new, insert object. You're gonna add a new sky. And that does nothing yet. So what you wanna do here is you wanna go to properties here. So I already have properties open, but I'm showing you properties. And then I'm just gonna drag this out. And then you see over here, we got game. So game, the reason why we care about game is we need to actually import the textures. In order to be able to import a texture, your project needs to be published. So I'm gonna go ahead and publish this as a new place. I'm just gonna call it Sky Test 4 because I've been doing a lot of these tests. Okay. Next, all right, so you wanna import, there it is. So we're gonna go and queue all these up. Roblox does not like it when you upload too many files at once. So it's gonna probably pause on this one right here. Look at that. All right, so now that we have everything uploaded, now you wanna just close this upload window out, and you're gonna go inside the same window, you're gonna go to images, and you're going to right click. Let's go ahead and start with the down, which is considered DN. So you're just gonna click in there. So make sure you do right click and copy ID clipboard. So all you have to do is paste that, and then do up, paste. So you can see we're already seeing some new textures in. We're gonna do back. We're gonna do front. We're gonna do left and right. So now we've got everything imported. You just need to check to see if you have any like weird lines or anything like that, but this is actually looking pretty good. So now you can see here, we got our skybox. All right, so you can see here it's pretty much, I mean, it's good to go. You see the horizon was about what we thought, right? And then if you look down, so if you look down, you can see it looks decent. You can see the moon down there, but it doesn't look bad. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Again, it really isn't that hard to do skyboxes. You just need to make sure you use the guides correctly and you understand the concept. The hardest concept for you to understand is how to line up the bottom. And so as soon as you realize, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything super complex at the bottom. Just use a gradient at the bottom. You get your more complexities up here. You can even do mountains and stuff right here. This area is safe. So this area here is pretty safe. So if you wanted to do mountains or something, you know, for any reason, then you can do so. It's okay. Like, you don't have to worry about the details here. Getting out of control, as long as it loops, as long as it's seamless. And like I said, the way to make it seamless is because your problems are going to be here and here. And so the way to make it seamless is you can blend. So you can take a copy of this and then basically cut that out and start it over here and then blend it, right? So you're going to want to make sure there's no craziness. So it just takes a little bit of photoshopping to blend that stuff. And then the other areas you want to avoid getting into any craziness, like I said, are here. You want to keep those pretty clean if you can, or at least use textures, you know, if you can. Otherwise, you get into this weirdness, right? Because remember, this is like a box. So this is how it works. See how it wraps and it connects? You're basically like wrapping a box. And so because of that, you got to be really careful about the top. Because imagine if I did this. Imagine in a scenario where it's like this. Say I had something weird down here, here, and here. And I tried to line that up you're gonna have problems. Look, how am I supposed to line that up? Doesn't connect. So this would have to wrap around. This would have to bend towards this piece. So it makes it more complexity to your skybox. Just avoid complexity. My skybox looks great. Like, this does not look bad at all. You don't need a complicated skybox. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it, you guys. And you can use this template. I will actually link it on my Discord. So I will literally upload this file to Discord for you guys. If you want to use the guide, you're welcome to. I did create it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up some of the files, but basically if you want to be able to go in and say, okay, I've got my up down guide, you know, so basically this, right? So you want to be able to use this, feel free to use it. It is on Discord. You can jump into my Discord by clicking the link in the description below. It is in the Roblox downloads channel, and anytime I make more tutorials like this, you can always find the reference materials inside that channel, as well as any links to resources that I might reference inside descriptions. You can always go to the Discord channel and grab those. I hope you end up creating something really, really cool through this tutorial. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll be doing more videos like this in addition to my gameplay videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more technology related tutorial videos, like how to do Discord bots and such, you know, setting up your own databases on servers, setting up EC2 instances on Amazon, whatever it might be, that might help you along in making your games or running your communities. I will be doing a lot of those videos, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy.